My name is Peter, Peter S. I'm 26. I am from Maryland, but I'm currently based in New York. And at the time, maybe shout out to Frank. I was I was like about like I think 1 year into my recent knee injury I had in 2021. And I had a lot of knowledge base in like rehabbing my knee, or at least strength rehabbing in my knee. And I think going into my plan with Frank, I didn't have the best idea of how to incorporate other aspects of lifting. So like not just legs, and now like looking at like how do I incorporate upper body into my workout each week, and how should I split my workouts throughout the week. And so going into it, I didn't have the best knowledge on the splits and how I should focus and cater my workouts to my fitness goals that I would create. Um, yeah.
Right. Okay. And how do you feel after? I think we've been training for a little bit over a year, right?
Yeah. I think I feel
Oh, yeah.
very in a few aspects. One is I used to not like tracking my meals because I didn't want to go too deep into that and get into the like get too obsessed over it and then lead to like eating disorders, other things like that. Not that it like would always do that. So not to say for everyone that just because you tracking meals means you have an ED or you have a higher chance of getting ED, but I think I worried about that. So I wanted to kind of make sure I was eating healthy enough and not limiting myself. And afterwards, working with Frank without his like multiple adjustments to the meal plan and looking at like my lifestyle and how to best cater how I like shop and how I eat and financially. I think Frank provided really good ways to break down how to plan meals for the week, how to make sure you're getting each food group through your meals, whether it's like making sure you're getting proteins, like grains and carbohydrates, as well as like vegetables and things like that, to make sure you're balancing your diet, as well as making sure you're hitting correct protein counts. I think working with Frank, I've realized like I should get more protein than I expect, and that's I think a common thing for a lot of people. They don't realize until they start like lifting more, and they're like, I should be getting like 1 to 1.2 times grams of protein per pound of body weight or more, depending on like your goals. And I think that really opened my eyes of like, hey, like I should really think about protein in each meal I eat, and be more cognizant of that. One of the aspects that I've grown in comfort is like knowing multiple movements and learning how to adapt and adjust my workouts to not only listen to my body, but also to focus on specific things. I think one thing that Frank has shared with me is that if you go work into the gym without a plan, you get mixed results because you have a mixed workouts and no direction. So I think working with him and reflecting each week has really helped me think about like I should really think about like my goals and how I am moving towards them, and like what specific movements or exercises I need to do to make sure that I am moving towards my goals and making sure I can like track progress for whatever it is, whether it's like a specific weight goal or like maybe to more functional fitness of like applying it to a sport or something like that. And I think working with Frank and having them help change my plan when I needed or when I had injuries or changes in my fitness goals has really helped me see like how I can adjust throughout week to week.
And I think especially with you, because your goal was a little bit different than most people coming in, where they're just like, oh, I want to lose 30 pounds. Yours wasn't really a weight
Mm-hmm.
loss related goal. It was more so about learning specific things and strengthening different parts of you, right? So I think that's why I took that much more time with you to make sure that we had a well defined goal to work towards, right? And
Yeah.
then I think about halfway through, we evaluated those goals and then came up with new goals to make sure we're still working in the right direction.
Yeah.
Um, that being said, my next two questions: what are some things either one thing or some things that you really liked about the program, and then what are some things you think could have been better or you want to see improve?
Yeah. Um, a few aspects I really liked, at least from my personal workout plan and the the care and service I received from Frank through him being like my trainer is I think um, the ease of access through the app to track all my workouts, all my meals, um, and my stats. That really helped me. Although I got kind of lazy with the stats over time because I was moving and then a lot of other things happened. I think it really helped me see progress and like make sure to remind it helped reminding myself that like, hey, we're still working towards a goal and we're making progress, even if it doesn't feel like it. The other thing with that is like the meal plans, as I mentioned earlier. Frank has really did a really good job, I think, of giving multiple options of like meal plan breakdowns to really help people and me specifically like figure out like how can I shop efficiently as well as plan my meals more efficiently. And like towards the end of our program, I actually worked on a few weeks practicing the meal prepping, and I really helped. Just like in the morning, I wake up, I pack the food into a Tupperware from like the big tub into a smaller one to bring to work, and then I know I'm ready hitting like certain amount of protein counts, or I'm ready like hitting certain amount of calorie counts, or like I know I'm not starving throughout the day. Um, and then asking about things I like, things I didn't like. I wouldn't say it's something I didn't like, but it's something that I think I could have worked on is being a little more proactive in the weekly calls. When I did go to them, I really enjoyed them, and it was great to like listen to other people working through their their like struggles of the week or things like that, and them talking about their progress they've made, and really seeing like their energy of like, hey, like they're like a lot of them were like, oh man, I like was really busy with work, but I made it to the gym and did like that 30 minutes of cardio and or like that weightlifting thing that was on my to-do list. um, and I think it helps push for accountability, which I think is one key in the multiple ways of accountability that are designed in the program, which I think are helpful. I think you did a really good job of like providing program and information around like holidays, for example. You would be like, oh, hey, like around the holidays, I know everyone's going to be like, it's going to be hard to track the meals, but we should like at least try to track them and stuff like that. And you provided flexibility, but also information on how to help make sure people are trying to stay on track. So I think you did a really good job of providing like options and flexibility with everyone.
Okay, thank you. And what advice would you have for somebody on the fence, on the fence of joining Tank Fitness?
I'd say try it out. Like, um, I think I was at first hesitant to try out virtual training because I was worried about like how could I get feedback, how could I um like work with them consistently. And I think through the app it provided it clearly showed very quickly like, oh, I can like send videos and record form and ask questions about it, and like it was pretty much instant feedback within the same day or next day. And like commit to it and um be willing to give um all the effort, because what effort you give in will you'll receive back in like either in like results or in like whatever it is you're looking for. So, and you have to be like honest with yourself throughout like your progress and your journey. So
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I definitely agree. I appreciate you even reaching out and working with me. Honestly, that meant a lot. And I appreciate you being consistent and putting in work despite school and work and everything. Now, do you have any other questions, concerns, anything else you want to say?
not really. I can share that I entered this with hesitance and like with the desire for like a lot of strength based goals, and I ended up changing over time. Working with Frank has been a great pleasure with adjusting again to all of the needs I had and all of the emergencies or injuries or adjustments I made throughout my journey over the past year and a half or so of like switching from strength to now like a applied based fitness goal like climbing, for example. So and like because that's something I care about, and I started to care a lot more about versus just lifting weights. And Frank did a really good job of working with me to adjust for the change in fitness goals. So yeah.
Awesome. I appreciate that.